Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, Season 3, Episode 7. And yes, this is the finale episode. Thank you, Jesus, because I couldn't watch one more episode.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, God.
I have been so disgusted by this season. This has to be the worst season yet. Gizelle, Portia, Marisol, and Alexia brought the vibes down for me. Their attitudes, their mean girl behavior. And at certain points throughout this season, it felt like I was rewatching Season 7 of Potomac, especially in this finale episode. Gizelle, you are a miserable woman. You take accountability for nothing. The fact that you had the audacity to still bring up your missing tequila bottle and you're sitting up there still accusing Candiace, and the joke was truly on you because we found out at the tail end that Candiace did not take your bottle. It was Heather and Whitney who took your bottle. But y'all, with all that being said, let's just jump right on into this recap because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up with it being the final morning in Thailand, and the ladies are getting ready for the day. We see Gizelle in the pool, and of course, Gizelle is on that BS first thing in the morning. I said, girl, even Jesus rested. You're not tired. It's the last day. Just have some fun. So Gizelle calls Pepsi over. She's like, hey, Pepsi, I want to play a game today at lunch. She tells Pepsi that she wants him to blow up a picture of the Clase Azul bottle, and she wants an easel. So she's like, yeah, I have a plan. Just bring it at lunch. I'm like, at your big grown age, and you are still whining about this tequila. You can buy this tequila anywhere. And a few of you guys told me in my last recap that you lived in Thailand for a few months and you could buy Clase Azul anywhere there too. So for her to be doing all this, it's like, girl, are you okay? And the funniest thing about this is that if the tables were turned, Gizelle would be saying, who does that? That's broke behavior. But yet it's okay when she does this, bitch and moan over a bottle of tequila. Now, if I'm being honest, they could have left one of the Miami girls at home and had Karen Huger come on, because Karen would have really gotten Gizelle together, especially about this tequila situation. So anyhow, we see a short clip of Leah in the hospital. She's like, I have to leave soon because one thing about it, I might be sick, but I am not going to miss this finale dinner. Like, I will be there. I said, I know that's right, sis. Don't go out on a sad note, go out on a high note. Now, I thought the conversations in the Sprinter vans to lunch were very interesting. We see Candiace, Whitney, and Heather in one van, and then the mean girls in the next van. So Whitney says that this trip feels like an emotional roller coaster. They've been through it all. And I said, yeah, all you guys have done since day one is fight. You guys haven't had a minute of peace or any relaxation. You've been at each other's throats since the beginning. So yeah, I would say that it's an emotional roller coaster as well. You guys haven't had that much fun. I've been drained just watching you guys. So now Heather's asking Candiace who surprised her the most on this trip, and Candiace says Whitney. She's shocked at how much they have in common. She's also surprised at how close they've gotten. And she's like, I really love you, Whitney. You're my favorite. I think it's so funny that Whitney and Candiace have gotten so close, because in the first episode, let's not forget, Whitney made it clear that she was not here for Candiace. She said that she was the most annoying one in her opinion. And now to see them like this, it's just so funny how that works. So now we jump to the other van, and Marisol's bringing up how the casting worked on their show. This husband and wife of a small company casted all of us to be on the show. And they did a great job because you have 4 OGs still on our franchise all this time later. So Alexia disagrees. She's like, Marisol, even though we're friends, I don't agree at all because the original cast made no sense and you know it. So I was like, Alexia, why can't Marisol state her opinion? Why are you upset at how she feels? If Marisol feels like casting did a great job with their show, then why are you upset about that? Again, that's her opinion. That's how she feels about it. And you can sense the tension between them because Alexia was so irritated with Marisol. She was like, even though we're friends, I feel like Marisol does not support me when I say things. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Because on Miami, Marisol is up your ass. Marisol is your yes man. She hardly ever disagrees with anything that you say. So how can you say that your friend doesn't support you? I was really surprised by that. And Marisol was taken aback by that too. So now Alexia continues with her woe is me story about how they just wrapped up season 5 and it was a tough season for her because she was fighting with all the women and Marisol didn't have her back the way she thought she should. So I'm like, wait a second, hold on. You guys know I watched Miami. Marisol defended Alexia till the bitter end, all season long. So for Alexia to now turn around and say that she didn't feel supported, I'm confused. Were we watching 2 different shows? How can you say that? I don't know what kind of support Alexia wants. And Alexia reminds me so much of Teresa Giudice from Jersey. I just don't understand what it is that Alexia wants. I feel like Alexia is one of those people who's never satisfied because Marisol truly is a friend to her and she follows Alexia blindly. So for Alexia to feel unsupported, again, I'm confused. I'm really petty and I have very low tolerance for BS like this. So me, if I would have heard that in that van, I probably would have said, you know what, Alexia, we're done. I would have ended the friendship right then and there. Don't play with me. Because if I know that I have your back and if it's evident on national TV, we can play the tapes back and see that I'm always on your side. And then you turn around and tell a group of people that I don't have your back, we're going to have an issue. And in order for me to solve the issue, it will be ending this friendship because clearly you don't value me, you don't respect me, and I'm out here looking crazy because you're saying that I don't have your back. That's a slap in the face. Now they arrive to the restaurant and it's their final lunch and the restaurant is absolutely gorgeous. And I thought it was really cute because Portia was like, let's all take a video of us walking down the runway. And I thought that was nice. I said, finally, you guys are somewhat getting along. So half a point for you, Portia. You know how I feel about you, but I said at least you were trying to be in good spirits this time. So now they sit down, they're ordering their drinks, ordering their food. Marisol's trying to make some conversation, and she's like, I don't know if this was said before, but who surprised you on this trip? So you have Alexia saying, girl, we already did that. Like, are you drunk? I don't understand. Why are you asking that question? We already asked that. So now Gizelle jumps up and she dominates the conversation as she's been doing the entire trip. And she's like, well, I want to play a game. Already they know it's about to be some BS because every time Gizelle wants to play a game, there is always mess and shade involved. So she calls out Pepsi's name. They're all like, Pepsi's here? Baby, Pepsi comes out with this big old easel. He unveils the picture, and it is an enlarged picture of Gizelle's missing Clase Azul bottle. And they're all like, you have got to be kidding me. Even Portia was confused. She said, now I know good and damn well that Gizelle did not go out and find a printing company in the middle of Thailand to print out this big ass picture of this missing bottle. A mess. So Whitney's like, are you kidding me right now? I said, Whitney, shut up, because you're the one who took it with Heather. So, girl. So Gizelle says that court is in session and she wants to get to the bottom of who took her bottle. So she's like, Portia, do you have anything that you want to say? Did you see anything? Portia's talking about, oh, I went in Heather's room and I did not see the Clase Azul bottle. She's off the hook. So you have Gizelle saying, okay, Heather, you're off the hook. You're no longer on the suspect list. And now she turns to Marisol and says, Marisol, you're also off the suspect list because you and Alexia share the same room and I know you didn't take it. So of course, Gizelle turns her attention to Candiace and she's like, Candiace, you're still a suspect because when I asked you about searching everybody's rooms, you were talking about, hell no, you're not searching me. And why are you accusing me when I accused everybody? So Candiace says, yeah, and that was rude because why are you accusing your so-called friends of stealing your bottle? Did anybody scream when Gizelle said, this bottle means a lot to me? I said, this bottle means a lot to you? A bottle that you can buy at any liquor store for $142? Gizelle, I'm so concerned I might have to Cash App or Venmo you some money because it's alarming at how hellbent you are on accusing people, especially Candiace, of stealing this bottle. You sound absolutely unhinged to say that this bottle means so much to you. I loved how Candiace clocked you when she said, just because that bottle means so much to you, that does not give you the right to accuse everybody of stealing. If you're so pressed about it, stick that bottle up your booty hole and fly home. Gizelle just won't stop. I mean, it became so infuriating to watch. I almost turned this TV off. You guys almost did not even get a recap for this finale episode. Gizelle says, I'm just so hurt by this whole thing. Pepsi has lost sleep. And Candiace, I want to ask you one more time, do you change your plea from innocent to guilty? So Candiace says, no, I'm innocent. And I said, Gizelle, shame on you. The real reason why Pepsi was most likely losing sleep about this whole thing, because his job is on the line. And he was afraid that he might be accused of stealing it. So now Heather jumps in to defend Candiace, and she's like, Gizelle, may I ask you something? So are you pretty much saying that it's either Candiace is innocent or guilty? Gizelle says yes, and then Heather says, Gizelle, I don't believe for 1 minute that Candiace took the bottle. Now, Heather, since we find out at the end that you and Whitney took the bottle and hid it outside, it was at this moment that you should have stepped up and just confessed, because the way this conversation went from bad to worse, you could have ended this whole entire thing. And then to have the other ladies pile up on Candiace saying, well, you know, I'm not saying that she did do it, but I'm not so sure that she didn't do it because a hit dog will holler. That was so messed up to me. And I lost so much respect for you, because this woman has been getting ganged up on since the beginning of this trip. And now things are even worse because you have somebody like Gizelle accusing her of stealing. So Gizelle says, despite what you guys say, I'm still the judge, I can overrule, and the verdict is that Candiace is still a suspect. I was like, you're just so pathetic, just so vile. But Gizelle, you're gonna get what's coming to you, because I keep seeing how you keep sticking your foot in your mouth on your podcast with Robin. And I said, keep playing before you get that podcast shut down and fired off the show. So Candiace snaps and she says, your core is BS. You know good and well I'm not a thief, and I am no longer friends with the accuser. So now here goes Gizelle saying, well, our friendship has been broken for quite some time. So now Marisol interjects and she says, well, my hearing is broke. I'm gonna need a $5,000 hearing aid because Candiace is always sitting next to me screaming in my ear because she's so loud. So Candiace is like, Marisol, you have Gizelle sitting right next to you. She's always loud, screaming in your ear. Can you stop saying that I'm the loudest one? And Marisol, it feels very racist that you keep saying that Candiace is the loudest one. Why don't you say that about your friend Alexia? I just don't like that. Why is the black girl, the dark-skinned black girl, being painted out as the loud one? I don't like that. I feel very strongly about that. Because Portia can scream, Gizelle can scream, Leah can scream, everybody else can scream, but when Candiace screams, she's the loudest? Y'all have been screaming at each other the whole time. Don't do that. Again, y'all need to really calm it down and keep it real cute. You guys all get loud. Stop singling out Candiace. So now you have Portia trying to jump in and play mediator between Candiace and Gizelle. And I'm like, Portia, sit there and eat your food. It's between them. It's not between you. Why do you need to get involved? And we all know you're going to side with Gizelle and try to purposely misunderstand what Candiace is saying. Because when Portia went on to say, I mean, you guys came on this trip as friends, you're going to allow this little thing to get in between you? And Candiace said, but Portia, she's accusing me of stealing. How would you feel? So now Portia says, well, obviously it's deeper than this bottle of tequila, because that's a mess that you're going to allow this to destroy your friendship. Let me let you know something right now. For me, I have no issues cutting somebody off if I feel disrespected. If you accuse me of stealing from you, the friendship is over. Because I have never, will never, I don't even have that in me to steal. So for anybody to even accuse me of that, we'd be done, because you low-key don't think of me as a friend. That is very damaging. That's very insulting. Portia knows that she would be offended if somebody accused her of stealing. Portia's offended by people saying that she stole a man. When Gizelle twisted her mouth to tell Candiace, the level of friendship that I have for you is not the same that you have for me and I'm hurt, I damn near fainted. For Gizelle to be able to say that with a straight face is extremely alarming. In what world does Gizelle feel like she's been a great friend to Candiace and Candiace has not been a great friend to her? Candiace liked Gizelle way more than Gizelle liked Candiace. Let's be very clear. That's how you know that Gizelle does not live in reality, because for her to even say that, and she really said that with such conviction, I was like, Gizelle, you know that we all see you, right? We've been watching this show since season 1. You have not been a great friend to Candiace. So at this point, lunch has gone to hell. Gizelle and Candiace are going at it. You have Gizelle saying, how can you question my trust when I rode for you? And I'm like, how did you ride for her? You accused her husband of acting in an inappropriate manner that made you feel uncomfortable. And you said this on national TV. And this man lost out on jobs, lost out on money, had to explain himself to his colleagues, his peers, and his family, all because you want to lie for a storyline. Trying to destroy somebody's family and their marriage, that's riding for them? I'm confused. Candiace starts crying. She says that it's so hard to trust Gizelle. Then she says that she's seen Gizelle come for everybody, and now Gizelle has finally come for her. Now, Candiace, I remember when you first joined this show and you were kissing up to Gizelle and Robin, and I was thinking, watch out, because Gizelle has a track record. She's going to make your life hell. The only other person that she likes besides Robin is Ashley Darby, because Ashley Darby is desperate and willing to do anything and say anything to stay on this show the same way that Gizelle is. They have the same mentality. And I think that Gizelle looks at Ashley Darby as a younger version of herself. But let's be real, Candiace. You walked in the lion's den, you thought that you'd be the exception, and you're finding out that you weren't the exception. Gizelle turned on you the way that she has done to everybody else. And you notice how Gizelle was upset when Candiace said that? Because she said, let's focus on me and you, not about me and everybody else. I said, yeah, because you know that Candiace is telling the truth. You do everybody around you dirty. So Candiace reiterates that Gizelle told a lie, and she came for her family. And Gizelle says, you told everybody a lie about me. You said that I mentioned S.A., and I never said that. So Candiace says, when you tell people that my husband lured you into a room, what do you think that you're implying? So the conversation goes nowhere. Gizelle's like, I need to sit in this. Like, I can't believe this. Candiace says, girl, sit in it, stew in it. Like, I don't give a damn, but you're a liar. And we're done. So Marisol jumps in with her sob story. She's like, well, I'm sad about my coffee because I brought coffee to share with you guys. We learned that Marisol had a coffee business with her mom, I guess some years back. It didn't do so well, but she still has a lot of it left. So she says that she brought half the coffee with her on the trip to share with the women, and it's missing. So now Alexia interrupts, and she's like, bro, you must be bored. You're sitting up here talking about your coffee. Nobody wants to hear that. So now Marisol gets mad, and she's like, Alexia, really? And I was like, now, Alexia, if that's your friend, why would you try to embarrass her like that? I couldn't imagine telling my friend to be quiet and trying to humble her in front of a whole group of people. Who does that? Well, like I've been saying, Alexia is not really a good friend to Marisol. It's the same dynamic as Candiace and Gizelle, where Marisol's a good friend to Alexia, but Alexia is just, she could take Marisol or leave her. So now Marisol starts yelling, and Alexia's like, girl, don't yell at me. You're screaming and acting like Candiace right now. I said, once again, Alexia, I'm gonna need you to look in the mirror. You have a very loud voice as well. The way Alexia yells and screams when she's angry, if you do not watch Miami, please watch. Alexia has a temper on her. When she's mad, she clears the room. So for her to tell Marisol to lower her voice and not yell and then say that you're acting like Candiace, I'm like, well, you act like Candiace too. But now Pepsi comes out to stop them from arguing. He's like, guys, lunch is over. We're gonna go back to the villa and get ready for dinner. So now they get back to the villa and Leah's back. She's up and alive again. She said that all she had was a viral infection and she is ready for the final dinner. I loved how Candiace checked up on her. She's like, girl, I'm just glad that you're back because lunch was a complete shit show. Gizelle still carrying on, accusing me of stealing from her. I'm just over it. Like, Gizelle is rude and bitter. And I said that's exactly what Gizelle is. Gizelle is a very rude, bitter, and just vile woman. Portia and Gizelle look like two clowns going in that confessional together, talking about let's play rock, paper, scissors to determine who stole the bottle. And then you guys both said the rock is Candiace, the paper I think is Heather, and you guys both did the rock. And you said, yeah, Candiace stole it. I was like, I don't have any words anymore. I don't know how many times I can say that you both are immature and just pathetic people. I loved how Pepsi was helping them get ready. They all changed into these traditional tie gowns and they all looked beautiful. I thought that Heather looked really good. I liked the waves that they gave her. I said, Heather, you need to look like this all the time. Like, this is a look. Like, she looked great. But we see a quick scene with Heather and Whitney. They're talking outside by the pool. And Heather says, it's such a shame that it's our final night. I feel like all we've done is fight. And we haven't taken in the beauty of where we are. So now they start talking about their relationship. And Whitney says, Heather, I love you. I'm proud of you. And so Heather says, look, I'm really offended at how you tried to question me on my Mormon journey. Like, don't do that. It's not up to you to decide for me on what I need to do. So they hug it out. Heather says in her confessional that it's a rough patch in their friendship, but that she's hopeful that if they have some tough conversations, they can work it out. Now, you guys know where I stand on all this. I'm tired of hearing about it. Whitney and Heather have beaten this stale, tired drama to death. And I want them to put this to bed. So now we see all of them on their way to dinner. And I thought it was so hilarious because Candiace, Heather, Whitney, and Leah were having a good old time in their van. They were singing Candiace's song, doing choreo to it. And then meanwhile, back on the other van, Marisol and Alexia are going at it yet again. So Marisol makes a quick comment about how she's a Capricorn, that's why she's so stubborn. And Alexia says she's always blaming everything on zodiacs, like grow up. And I was like, damn, everything that Marisol says, Alexia has an issue with. Like, you don't have to comment on everything. Why are you so pressed and bothered? It's like, you just want to pick at your friend. So here goes Gizelle stirring things up, and she's like, Alexia, I want to bring up what you guys talked about earlier today when you said that Marisol doesn't defend you. And Alexia's like, yeah, she doesn't defend me. So Marisol's like, me and Alexia have been in the same room for 8 days. So tensions are high, and nobody else has the right to comment on our situation. Now that villa was 20,000 square feet. I'm pretty sure that there was another bedroom and you guys could have had your own rooms because that is a very long time to share a space with somebody that's not your boyfriend or your husband or somebody that you're sleeping with. Like, yeah, to share a room and a bed with just a friend for all that time, you are going to be at each other's throats. Absolutely. I would have definitely said, no, I'm going to need my own room. Can I be so honest with you guys? Group trips and girls trips have gotten less appealing to me as the time goes by. Like, I'm not interested. It just always seems to be drama. I have a few stories myself that I might share. And you know what's really funny to me? When you get a YouTube channel, people will swear up and down that they don't watch your channel. And then when you bump into them like months later or like a year later, they'll say certain things and then they'll tell themselves that they are watching your channel and they're watching every video. And I'd be like, oh, interesting. So if I tell some of these story times, a lot of y'all who are lurking, family and former friends, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me. So you have Gizelle giving her 2 cents, saying that Alexia pretty much carries Marisol on the Miami franchise, and that Marisol doesn't really respect Alexia, even though Alexia is a great friend to her. And I said, again, what alternate reality are you living in? If you watch that show, Marisol lives and breathes to defend and support Alexia, whether Alexia is right or wrong. But Alexia goes on to say that she needs Marisol to defend her and have her back. And then she brings up how upset she was that Marisol didn't defend her at Nicole's engagement party. A quick rundown for those of you who don't watch the Miami franchise. There is a newbie on the cast. Her name is Nicole. She's a doctor. She's going to be married to a very wealthy man. She's living the life. Beautiful home, beautiful cars. She's a beautiful woman. Like, she has it going on, right? A lot of the women on the cast, including Alexia, are very envious of her. And at Nicole's engagement party, they pretty much tried to ruin it. And Marisol was also being rude to Nicole. And Marisol was on Alexia's side when they were all getting on her. So for Alexia to say that you didn't defend me at Nicole's engagement party, once again, I'm like, can we please play the tapes back, Alexia? Because you and Marisol were both tag teaming Nicole. Even Marisol was confused. She was like, girl, what? Go back and watch the footage because I definitely had your back. So now Marisol brings up that she's irritated because Alexia revealed that she's not legally married to her man, Steve. So she says the fact that you said on national TV that my marriage isn't real, what kind of friend does that? So Alexia says, watch your mouth. I never said those words. You're obviously on pills or something. Like, your brain is fried. I was thinking, yeah, the friendship would have been over by the time we got to the restaurant. Because you want to sit up here, embarrass me on national TV, and then deny it, and then tell me that I'm on pills and my brain is fried. Alexia would have been cursed out. So the ladies arrive at the restaurant, and I have to say, this restaurant was gorgeous. There's this huge lagoon. They have to be brought over to be seated by boat. Just extravagant, lavish, everything that we want to see on a Housewives vacation. So they're all seated. Everybody's in a great mood. Even Leah says, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be out of the hospital. And I don't understand why Portia is rolling her eyes, making faces. You guys are on opposite ends of the table. Leah is expressing gratitude. She's in a good mood. She's happy to be there with you all. Why can't you just be happy? Why are you making faces? You hate this woman that much? And then when you gave that toast saying, let's all toast to sisterhood? Sisterhood, really? After you purposely didn't tag Leah or Candiace on the IG post, and then you've been ignoring Leah, rolling your eyes, talking about bye Leah, but you want to toast to sisterhood. Now, I actually thought that they were going to have a nice time at dinner. And once again, I was sorely mistaken. Whitney and Candiace are joking about what went down the night before. They're like, we had the best time. We got high. Whitney says, yeah, I actually smoked a blunt before me and Candiace smoked in the confessional. So then Whitney jokes about how she ate the KFC because she was so high. Portia's like, oh my gosh, that's why my KFC was missing. So now Alexia chimes in, and of course, she shifts the entire mood at the table. So she's like, Whitney, I want to say that I love how liberated you are, but I have to ask you a question, and please don't take offense. Now, the minute she said that, I said, all right, it's about to go left because Alexia is very shady and very judgmental. So Alexia says, you have children, they're 9 and 12, and how do you think that your actions are going to affect them since you're on TV? So Whitney says, look, me and my kids are close. We have real conversations. They know what it is. And I said, I know that's right. I think that that's the way it should be. I think that it's better when you are open with your kids about stuff. Now, granted, I'm not a parent yet, but my parents were open with us. We were open with them. It was very much open communication. So I didn't feel like I had to hide things. I feel like I made great decisions because I was able to talk to them about stuff. There wasn't that fear of, I'm going to be punished. And I think because of that, I was able to be honest and be open and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And yeah, get their advice on things. And that's definitely how I want to raise my future kids. But anyhow, Alexia in this moment should have had the good sense to just let it go. But where she and Marisol failed, they kept going. You could see that Whitney felt uncomfortable at the questioning, and even she was like, I'm feeling really judged right now. And I loved how Leah jumped in and said, now, Alexia, I'm surprised, because how can you be so judgmental when you were married to a cartel member? And every time somebody brings that up, Alexia always gets very defensive and very upset. So she's like, well, that was before I had kids. So Leah says, but my point still remains. You were married to a man who sold cocaine, but yet you want to judge somebody else about them smoking weed and being on a pole? Like, what's wrong with you? So Alexia tells Leah to be quiet. She's like, stop trying to shade me. All I'm doing is asking a question. So Leah says, no, you're not. You're judging her. So now you have Marisol jumping in, and she's like, Whitney, out of respect for your family, you should not be on a pole on national TV. So they're all like, now, Marisol, you put your foot in your mouth, because why would you say that? And I really didn't like the slut shaming vibes. I was irritated. I do find Marisol and Alexia to be extremely self-righteous, and I don't understand why. And when Marisol said, I'm just thinking about her kids, and Candiace said, well, what about your husband? Are you thinking about when your husband has to go to work and you're on national TV talking about getting drunk all the time? How does that represent your family well? I said, thank you. Because Marisol, this whole little thing you have going on about being this drunk, it's not cute, it's not funny, it's just weird, pathetic, and sad. I don't understand why Whitney, knowing how to work a stripper pole, has you feeling some sort of way. It's great exercise, it's sexy, it's a cool skill to have. Like, I'm here for it. You need to find a hobby of your own so that you're just not drinking all day. But I didn't like that shaming at all. I was so disgusted. I was like, Marisol, just shut up, please. You and Alexia. I'm so sick of the both of you guys. So Whitney's really annoyed. She's like, it's just very interesting to me that I'm being mom shamed from the same mom whose son was in jail for kicking a homeless man. So she has no room to talk. I said, thank you, because I've talked about Alexia and how she enables that no good son of hers for ages. And let's not forget that DV situation that occurred with his ex-girlfriend last year that Alexia was crying about and talking about he's innocent, he's innocent. So again, girl, not too much. So Whitney says, look, Marisol, thanks for being concerned about my kids, but let me just say this. My kids are just fine. And when the other kids say things at school, my daughter says, yup, that's my mom. I'm proud of her. Are you jealous? You wish it was your mom? So she's good over here. I said, exactly. So now the dinner's over, and now it's time for them to head down and have their ceremony. So Pepsi had me screaming. He's on the other side of the lagoon, holding up the Clase Azul bottle. I said, you had this man so stressed out that he searched everywhere in Thailand to get you that bottle. But he goes over to all them, he hugs them all, and now he's like, for the ceremony, you guys are going to send out these flowers, and you're going to set your intentions and say a prayer. So the first two up are Gizelle and Candiace, and so they set their flowers out, they're praying, and now they set their intentions, and Gizelle says that her intention was she's releasing any negativity in the group, and she hopes that the group can maintain their bond. So now it's Candiace's turn, and she says that her prayer was for healing in the group, and that she's sorry that people were bullied. So of course that's a direct dig towards Gizelle and Portia, and Giselle's like, really? Really? And I say, yes, girl, you have been nothing but a pain in the ass this entire trip. Leah and Portia go next. Leah says that she releases all of her ailments. Portia says that she releases all negative self-talk. I said, okay, Portia, you just can't own up to anything. It would be too hard for you to say, I release my bad energy, my bad attitude, my immature ways. You couldn't do that. That was just too much. Then we see Alexia and Marisol. Marisol's really emotional. She's crying. She's like, I know that me and Alexia fight like old married couples, but we love each other, and I just love you to death. So now they hug it out, and I'm like, okay. Honestly, I would need a bit of a break from a friend if they had dogged me out the way Alexia did in that Sprinter van. So now, last but not least, it's Heather and Whitney's turn, and so they also have an emotional moment. Whitney says that she releases expecting the worst from people. Heather says that she releases being judgmental of people, and now her and Whitney hug it out, and they want to get their friendship back on track. Again, I'm over all the tears and all these hugs and makeups to breakups to makeups again between Heather and Whitney. It's enough already. You guys have talked about this stupid drama between you all season long. It was boring then, it's boring now. And season 4 of SLC, if I even tune in to watch, I don't want to hear any more of this. But we get to the final day. Everybody is packing up. And I got emotional seeing Leah and Candiace hug. Leah was like, Candiace, I really admire you. Like, you are just such a badass. I just love our friendship. And I really do love how they just connected. You can tell that they're going to be good friends for a long time. Leah was like, Candiace is my girl. So now we see Whitney at the table eating some breakfast. Alexia joins her. They're making small talk. And now Alexia says, Whitney, I know last night got heated, but I wasn't trying to come off as judgmental. I was asking a question because honestly, I could be a bit more like you. And then Whitney says, you know what, Alexia, I appreciate that. I'll accept your apology. Like, we're good. So now all the ladies come to the table. Pepsi comes out. And Pepsi had me crying. He was like, girls, these 8 days were amazing. I love you guys so much. I'm going to miss you guys. And then Candiace said, Pepsi, we love you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You made our trip so lovely. You went above and beyond for us. And they had gifts for Pepsi. They gave him a letter, a framed picture, and then they gave him an envelope full of some money. I said, I know that's right. I said, the way you guys ran Pepsi ragged this entire trip, I hope there was no less than 10,000 American dollars in that envelope because Pepsi deserved. So I was like, I'm glad that you guys had the good sense to give Pepsi a nice tip. And Pepsi, if you're watching, please feel free to DM me, hit me up on Instagram, email me. Let me know how much they tipped you, because if I find out that it was a cheap tip, I'm really going to drag all of them because they have all that money. And Pepsi's so cute when he said, when the girls miss me, all they have to do is open the fridge, get a can of Pepsi, and there I am. I said, the way I want to go to Thailand now, I want to stay in that same exact villa, and I want to meet Pepsi. Like, he just seems so sweet. I know Pepsi's DMs supposed to be blowing up because he's a celebrity now himself. Pepsi was low-key the best part of the trip, and I hope that Andy has him come on an episode of Watch What Happens Live. That would be everything. So the trip is over. The ladies are on their way to the airport, and we see the last few scenes. Gizelle is in her confessional asking the producer if they ever found where her bottle was. The producer is like, look, girl, we checked the footage. We didn't find anything. We don't know where the bottle went. Like, leave it alone. So we cut to another scene with Leah and Candiace, and they're in the confessional laughing with the bottle of Clase Azul. So Candiace is like, Leah, you are just such a good friend. And then we cut to the final scene where the night before, Heather and Whitney are both laughing, and they say, you want to take a shot of Gizelle's Clase Azul? I can't believe they didn't find it behind the outdoor shower. That's the oldest trick in the book. So this whole entire time, Whitney and Heather took the bottle, and this one sat up here and accused Candiace of having it in her suitcase. A mess. Gizelle, sit there and take this L, please, because you made a complete jackass of yourself this entire trip. There are just so many other housewives they could have chosen besides this cast because it just didn't fit. There was too much drama, too much arguing, too much hatred. It just made it unbearable to watch. But guys, that was my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.